So I'm going to show you a little trick we can do with our Laravel MCP server to where we can still sort of leverage features of MCP, particularly resources and prompts, when working with OpenAI or Claude, because Claude and OpenAI have limitations, being that you can only use tools, no other offerings. So we're going to switch over to the IDE. And first we need to create a MCP tool. We're going to call this a resource tool. And then we need to create a couple of resources. We're going to call it an OpenAI resource. And then we're going to create a Claude resource because we essentially want to be able to say, you want to make these basically vendor specific, right? So if I go to OpenAI resource, just say this resource content only for OpenAI, and then our Claude resource only for Claude. So this will be the last time we go into those two classes. But now we want to go into our resource tool. So we're going to need to do some stuff here to just make it aware. So first, we're going to create a method called classes. And so at the end of this, we're going to basically be outputting a list of classes. But before that, we need to tap into the agent. You might be going, the AI agent? Well, we're actually going to be referring to the user agent that's coming in from the request. So we're going to pass this into our string helper, which is going to give us the ability to say, if the agent contains OpenAI, we want to introduce our OpenAI resource, and then the other one being our Claude resource. So we're just going to pull these in. So classes, if the user agent contains OpenAI, pull in the OpenAI request or resource. If it's the agent contains the word Claude, pull in the Claude resource. We're going to return those. Now we're going to go up to our schema because the schema is going to say, well, we're going to require a string that is an enum of the classes we just defined, and that's going to be a required item. So this is going to restrict what's coming in to only be one of these classes. So now that we have that, we can say our class, which is coming in the request, we're going to get the class, and then at the end of this, we're going to create a new instance of it. New class, and then we're going to sit there and say handled the request. So we're just passing the request from here into the request of one of the resources, right? So we have that. So we're done at least with the resource tool. So now we got to go into our server. So you see how MCP server extends this server class? If we scroll down, there's going to be a method called create context, and this is where Laravel creates the server context. So we're going to copy that method. We're going to bring it into our MCP server class, and at the end of this, we're just going to be calling the parent class, because what we're needing to do is just do like we just did with the resource tool. So we want to go back, do a string to get that request user agent. We want to make it lowercase, and then we can sit there and say, we want to sit there and say, well, how does this qualify? So if it qualifies, if the agent contains OpenAI or Claude, and then if it qualifies, we then want to push into the tools that we already have, the resource tool. So we're going to bring in that, and then we're going to pull in the server context. And everything here so far looks good. So if I go to my MCP inspector and I hit tools, you should still only see generate image tool. And we do. If I go to ChatGPT and I go into my app and I hit refresh, we should see that resource tool appear. Give it just a second. Okay, and we do. So now I could be like, hey, Jordan, show me the OpenAI resource. So it's going to go out, make the tool call, should pass it down. Here it goes. The resource content is only for OpenAI. If I go to Claude, and I'm going to have to disconnect and then reconnect, and it's probably going to have a little pop-up. It's a little thing it experiences from time to time, which is fine. We're going to go into configure, and you see we have access to that resource tool. So if I go to chat, start a new chat, and I say at Jordan AI, show me the resource for Claude. So it's calling the resource tool. Specific class parameter, let's see what it did. So it seems that, did we make a potentially a small little mistake? So we're going to go our resource tool. We're going to make this lowercase. And then we're going to go back to the connectors. We're going to reconnect because that's the one step I had done in the server, just not on the resource tool. So give that a second. And now I'm going to tell it to try again, please. Passing along the request. Here's what it came back. The resource is only for Claude. And you can say, do you have one for OpenAI? Which it shouldn't. No. And I should there say, and for OpenAI, do you have one for Claude? Which it shouldn't, right? Because neither are aware of the other one. So all it knows is about the OpenAI resource. So just like that, we did a little workaround to extend our Laravel MCP server to still be able to leverage, in our case, a resource when connecting our MCP server to OpenAI or Claude. Found value with this? I encourage you to give me a like, leave me a comment, share this, and follow me on YouTube at DaltonCast or on X at Jordan K. Dalton. Thank you.